Okay, so we are recording. Hello, hello, outside world, YouTube world. All right, so let's see. So I think we're going to wait just a few more minutes, and for Dr. Campisi to show up because she's my official person to monitor the questions in the box. So has everybody? How's everybody doing? Just want to just turn on your mics and say hello. Like how are you holding up?
Hello.
Hey, we are still alive.
Hello.
Yay!
We're healthy.
Want to say something?
I'm
Yay.
alive.
I'm doing fine.
Still alive. Surviving, I guess.
Think alive.
Alive but not happy about the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm alive, but really bored at home.
Who's that? Oh, is that Cordelia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing we're going to try to do is if you have some time on next Wednesday, we are actually going to try to have a virtual colloquium. This will be the first thing, and we'll see if we can make that happen. So, if you've ever wanted to come colloquium but you just couldn't physically make it, you're not on campus on Wednesdays, this is your chance, man. This is it. Fernando says TA squad. What? Okay. All right. So as soon as Dr. Campisi shows up, let me go text her.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, there you are. All right. So you're to monitor the chat box and keep track of the questions that are asked, and I'll just sort of go ahead and so I'll just go through my items relatively quickly, and then open the floor for questions, because it's always better to have a shorter TA session. All right, so yeah, now, and probably, actually, I don't know, there aren't that many people here, but I think in general, this is a good set of, this is a good set of instructions to be shared with your students. Oh my goodness, I realized I had the camera off, so now I just broadcast like 5 minutes. So sorry, YouTube people, there's like 5 minutes of nothing, but okay. Anyway, so this is actually a good set of instructions to go with, to send to all your students when you hold an online session. So ask them to use something with a big screen so they can read what's going on. To ask them to turn off their cameras. They probably won't want to share their camera faces anyway, but it just might not occur to them. But because every professor in the country is going to be using Zoom at the same time on Monday, starting on Monday, probably it's better to turn off your camera, have everybody sort of transmit as little as possible, and have them mute their microphones and have the chat window open to ask questions. It does. I mean, if I pause every few minutes, I actually can keep track of what happens in the chat window. But it's easier if I have Dr. Campisi do it for me, for example. I don't know if you had a friend to do it for you, that would be better. So does that make sense as a sort of set of yes, get ready to crash the internet on Monday. That's right, Kai. As a set of ground rules.
Yeah.
Everybody want to type that in the chat box just to make sure, just to assert that you know how to use it. Okay. All right. So let me get to the next slide. I think actually probably out of the various things besides questions, the next slide is probably the most important thing I have to say, which is be prepared to stink, but in a good way. So this is actually something I read on the internet the other day. Like for all the professors are freaking out on Twitter about how to transition to online classes, and I think probably the most important thing is to lower your expectations. Because I'm starting to get a few emails from people who are like, "Oh, what is this going to be perfect? How am I going to make this really better?" Don't worry about it. This is a crisis, right? This is like, if you ever wondered what it was like being in London during the Blitz in World War II, this is it, man. This is your Blitz. I mean, hopefully it won't be that bad. It's not like, nobody's dropping a bomb on your house, I hope. Anyways, but it is a crisis of sorts. So don't waste a lot of time and energy. Worry about optimization, like, oh, can I make it the best possible? No. The point is to just do enough to get by. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is worth turning on the microphone so we could all say it together. On the count of 3, we will all say, do enough to get by. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Do enough.
Do enough
Get
Get
by.
by.
to get by.
Enough to get by. Do enough to get by.
That was not maybe as synchronized as it might have been. Well, okay, that's fine because we're doing enough to get by. And I mean, because people who do this for a living, who do online classes for a living, spend years and years and years honing their skills and sort of working how this works. It's just as hard to figure out as teaching in a classroom. So our only goal is to do enough to get by. Is Bem, are you there? That's Dr. Keiko there? Yeah, I must say that Dr. Keiko might have something different to say about that as the chair. It might be her job to sort of say that don't just do enough to get by, but just do enough to get by, and do what you can. All right, and if you have any extra time or energy, and I have to say, having done 2 online classes yesterday, I was like way more tired than I thought I would be as soon as my daughter went to bed. So make sure you spend any extra time or energy you might have taking care of yourself, your friends, and your loved ones. Maybe get into cooking. Now is a good time to get into cooking. I'm making corned beef and cabbage upstairs in the slow cooker, and of course you have your own schoolwork to take care of. So make sure you don't fall behind on that. I mean, at the very least, it'll give you something to do when you're sort of trapped at home, as Cordelia just put it a while back. Okay, so. Everybody understand about lowering your expectations?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And and if I'm not lowering my expectations, let me know. And I'll say, oh, dang it, that's what I said, but okay. All right. So there's 2 things I wanted to share. Oh yes. Oh right. So now I'm going to call up my browser and remember to hide all your really embarrassing browser tabs. I think this is okay. I was playing YouTube earlier. Okay, so in what order do I want to do this? Geez, I had that up there already. Oh, right. So the first thing is to show you our new math workshop homepage. So can everybody see the homepage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Luis, introverts, please stand up. This is your time. Yeah. Yes, as a math person since I was 18, pretty much. I've been preparing my whole life for social distancing. Yes, this is our time. All right. So this is so what will happen is that one of the main ways that we're going to run the online workshops is through this homepage. And I think I hope I have shared this. Does everybody have this address?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is what will be on this page eventually, and it's sort of up to the in the charge of the lead TAs. What will happen is that each of these little areas will have something like math 19 worksheets. This is my 19W worksheets, and here's the workshop sheets will be. And this is the way that you will pass out the worksheets to your students. You just give them this. You give them this address. You tell them what to click on, and when you click on it, God willing, this will now show up. Ah, fantastic! There it is. All right. So okay. Oh, come on, screen share. So one of the annoying things you will find about Zoom screen share is that there's a thing in the top of the. Oh, great. Somebody had a really long comment there that looked interesting. Can Marion, can you sort of accumulate that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, so everybody saw the worksheet come up? Just type yes in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any questions about how the worksheet distribution will work?
No?
So from your email, I think you said that they're going to work on the worksheet beforehand and then ask you questions during the time. So do they still have to log into Zoom during that time, or like, because workshops are based on attendance. So how do you?
Participation, of course. Right. Well, I think it would make sense to have, for various for two reasons. I think it would make sense to have everybody log on to Zoom.
Okay.
One reason is to sort of promote that sense of community. That is part of the reason for the worksheet, for these workshops. At least to me, one of the great values of workshops is that students get to talk to each other and not just you. And so at least, and unless you're like really fancy with Zoom, it's hard to make a group work happen. But like I said, just do the minimum to get by. So don't even worry about that. But at least, if they're all on at the same time, at least they'll be able to sort of talk a little bit to each other and hear what each other's questions are. So that's what I would do. On the other hand, it's up to you. I mean, if for example, you can't make Zoom work, then just go ahead and have them email you or whatever. Yeah. Did I mention do just enough to get by? Just do enough to get by.
Yeah, I guess my question was how are they going to be graded for attendance? Because if they do the worksheet beforehand and say they actually like finish it all and don't have questions, which happens for a couple students in my workshop, do they just have to log in, be like, yeah, I finished it, and then log out, or like do they just have to stay on Zoom? Like I'm kind of confused.
Right. You should have. I see. You should have some. They should stay on Zoom.
Okay.
At least at the beginning. I mean, if there's nothing happening, let them go, I guess. Or you could just go through the worksheets, or I mean, I guess in the end it's going to be up to you, right? Whatever you feel comfortable doing. What was I saying? Oh, so you can have them email you. You could have them email you their work beforehand, and then you could display it. Randomly pick somebody to display. Does that make sense?
Okay.
This is just off the top of my head. You could look at, you could make it do like half an hour before, and then look over them, and then you could lecture on sort of the errors that you saw.
Okay.
Does that give you some idea of like a direction to head in? Who's this talking?
Nick.
Hi, Nick. So anyway, does that give some idea of a direction to head in?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Next question, Marian.
The next question is, in 18AW, the instructor will decide how it works. I'm not really sure what the difference is between 18AW and the rest of the Ws. So I don't know.
The difference is that the 18A course coordinator is extremely lazy and just left 18AW up to as a study hall. So yeah, you continue a study hall.
I see.
So that yes, Kai, that is correct. See,
also,
some of us are getting a head start on doing just enough to get by. So there we go.
It was pointed out that there's these reaction buttons at the bottom of everybody's screen, so we can give thumbs up and stuff if we want to. Yes, does everybody see the thumbs up? So instead of unmuting yourself to agree, you can give the thumbs up. But there's also ways to raise hands and stuff. There's a link in the chat that you can look at when you're getting ready to talk to your students.
These are all excellent points. Oh, go ahead.
And then the last question was, if a student doesn't have a draw or pen capability, what's the optimal way to help them with a problem? So can I answer this, Tim?
Sure, please.
So I have a lot of collaborations that I do over Zoom, and what we tend to do is just draw on a piece of paper and hold it up to the camera, which is not ideal, but you can pin a student to be take up most of your screen. And so you can, if a student asks a question, you can just pin them for a little while to be foremost in your screen and ask them to hold up their paper, and then you write on your paper and you just go back and forth that way. And it's not ideal, but it works. And then there's also a whiteboard that you can share that they can type on or draw on with their mouse, which again is not ideal, but does work. And that could be one way to kind of have a sense of group participation or something, like put up a whiteboard and then have everybody just type the answer they got all at once in like a cloud, a word cloud or whatever, and see what everybody got, just to kind of have some sense of participation and community. So those are all the questions for now.
Oh, and two more came up while you were answering. So Shayna asked, "Are we sharing? Do I sound like properly like a radio call-in show? Hi, first-time listener, long-time listener, first-time caller. So just to make sure, are we sharing this math worksheets page with our students? I bet I'm reading the chat page because the chat page does not show up on the video. So hopefully this will work. Oh no, Shayna, what happened to your question? All right. Are we sharing this math worksheets page with the students, or do we email the worksheets? And Nick asked them sort of confirms that yes, you should share exactly this address here, sites.google.com/sjsu.edu/ okay, don't copy all this stuff down. I'll put it all, okay, I'll put it up right now, but you don't need to copy it all down. We will go ahead and send this to you. We'll put it in the comment section. I'll put it in the comment section of the YouTube video. I'll send this to you by email. There'll be lots of places to find it. Just go ahead but just go ahead and share this, because we want to distribute. So the idea is that, especially when things are quite chaotic, the more we decentralize what's going on, the better. And so if you let the students just go ahead and let them go ahead and download the worksheets beforehand, that's great. If for some reason they actually want to do everything beforehand, which is kind of crazy, I don't know, maybe they're super bored. So that's fine too. We're just going to let that go. And hey gang, why is it that we're just going to let that go?
We're doing just enough to get by.
Thank you. Excellent. All right. So
can I make one more comment, Tim?
Sure, please.
So the different classes have been coordinated, like the instructors have been coordinated to different degrees so far, but you can certainly expect more of a divergence going forward in the material that they're covering and the section they're on at any given time, because they are in the same boat that we have been talking about, this do just enough to get by, and it's going to take some instructors longer than others to kind of fully get on board with this and be able to cover the amount of material they intend to. So you're just going to have to be even more flexible than you have been, with different students being prepared different amounts. And the course coordinators, the people who are coordinating the instructors, are doing their best to shepherd them back to somewhat near the same page, so your lives are not even more difficult.
And Hung, you have no boss, right? So Hung is specifically asking, may I reuse the worksheets this week, or do I have to remake them? So there is no 71 coordinator, right, Maren?
Right, I am.
Correct. There's no 71 coordinator.
Yeah, so just reuse the worksheets.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So two more questions. Nick says, is there a way to set up a recurring room? Yes, we're going to try that right now. Jeff asks, can we require the students have a pattern? No, we cannot require the students have a pattern graphics tablet. We are not going to make a chicken appear in every pot magically right now. And why is that? We're not going to have people use a graphics tablet. We're just going to have them hold a piece of paper to the camera, because
just enough to get by.
Just enough to get by.
Yes. For 18A, thank you, Fernando, for pointing out that's the bare minimum. Yes. So for 18A, there will be a calendar tomorrow.
And for 19, it's already up on the 19 website.
Yeah, and actually, Maren, you can sort of maybe talk about what you're going to do with the 19, but 18A, I'm just going to cut like 2 or 3 classes from the end, and so the exam final will cover something, if God help us, there is a final. We'll cover something different than it has in the past. Like we'll cut out the ever exciting, back solving 3 equations thing. Yeah, so things will be a little bit different and weird. And who knows? I mean, the final might end up being really different. It might end up being a multiple choice final, even though I know Dr. Kaiko is highly opposed to this, and the CSU chairs are highly opposed to this. I mean, we'll see.
I don't think it'll come to that.
You do think it'll come to that, or don't?
I do not think it'll come to that. I think we'll be able to do some short answer. But anyway, that's for another day.
Yes. Okay. Jeff, did you want to talk about the bare minimums for our benefit, not the students?
Yeah, I'm really sort of upset this whole idea of we're going to do the bare minimum to go forward. And that's for our convenience, that's for our benefit. But the students that paid their tuition and are working to pay their room and board, they're screwed.
Jeff, if I may offer a counterpoint, we are not going to be effective instructors as we are all dead. And so the reason the bare minimum that being for our benefit is because we need to survive.
Yeah, and I don't mind, hey, I don't mind doing the remote stuff just
because Jeff, because as they say on the airlines, you got to put the mask on yourself first. And this is something I say. There's something I say to a lot to TAs in every circumstance. But you got to put yourself on the mask on yourself first before you put it on the kid sitting next to you.
I'm fine with that, and I'm fine with working remotely with the students. I just want the ability to interact with them, and if they had a pen capability and they could write on the whiteboard, I'm cool with that. I think that's it's not optimum. It's not as good as being in person, but it's not that bad. But I don't understand if we expect them to have a calculator, and if this is the mode we're going to be in. I realize we can't.
If we had a couple months to prepare, I mean, we may have to do this again in the fall.
That's all I'm saying. In the
fall,
future, yeah.
In the fall, that is a reasonable request.
Yeah, and that's all. That's only the point I was trying to make is going forward, because I think this is going to be the new norm. Can we make that requirement on them so that we can have suitable interaction with them? That's all I'm asking.
Not now.
Understood.
Okay, so Mitch asks, how should we handle students who simply get lost in the wind during this time? Do we just leave them to their own fates? Well, I mean, you do what you can. For example, if I had to compare trying to keep in touch with students who might get lost in the wind versus having everybody get a tablet, I would definitely try to get a hold of the people who get lost in the wind. I guess, I think this is more of a time, don't worry too much about technology. Don't worry about what it is you're going to present. Actually, exactly, you'll figure out something. Even if you or yourself are just writing on a piece of paper and holding it up to a camera. But keeping some sort of human contact with people is probably a better use of your time. If you want to serve your students, keeping up some line of human contact with everybody is I think a better use of your time than I don't know, learning the fine points of Zoom.
I absolutely agree.
All right. So any other questions so far? Oh, and Marion, what did you just post in the chat?
I posted the link to the Math 19 website, which has the calendar, among other things.
Okay, and I will try to put that and other links into the comments on the YouTube page and send it out by email. So I guess we'll have to have a list of links discussed. Okay, are there more questions?
Yeah, there's a question about the internet on campus, or using the internet on campus.
Kai, yeah, you can do the Zoom thing on campus. I mean, if that's what you got, use it on campus. I mean, worst thing, you could just go and sit in the hallway, and there would be nobody else there, and you can use the campus internet. And the campus internet should be very fast because there won't be anybody there. So some students asked if I can move the meeting times. Are we allowed to do that? Is it, Hung, do you know why they just not want to be here at 4:30 or get up in the morning or whatever?
I think they just want to be a little more flexible on that. But I think the whole class have to be agree in order to move the meeting time. I have not answered any question yet.
Yeah, I would say if anybody objected, I would say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not move the meeting time. If you feel so inclined, you could hold extra office hours or something, but this is supposed to be the same class that they signed up for, and just, you know, if you were doing an in-person class and they asked to move the meeting time, you couldn't do that. So if you want to have extra time available to them, you certainly may, but you can't move the meeting time.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. Do we have to ask students to record our lecture? I would inform everybody. I am told there is some button you push somewhere that. So when you guys got into the Zoom page, was there some button, or when I hit record? I hope I hit record. Oh, there's a little red dot. Did it ask your permission to or notify you that you were being recorded?
No.
No. Okay. Let's see. So I would just start by saying, is everybody okay with that? And if you're not, oh, okay. So Amanda tells me you have to enable that manually in settings. Okay, so there's some way to do it. If you can figure out how to do it, great. And just sort of say, you know, put in a little thing that says this may be recorded. Click I accept to get in. If not, you know, you should probably let everybody know at the beginning, just in case they left their camera on there and they don't look so great. I don't know, but I mean that's probably a courtesy. But yeah, if you record, I would say you should at least tell people that you're going to record if you're going to record. I mean, you can always just not record. Because, well, you know why. if it's really hard for you to record, you don't have to record. But it's probably a good idea. Though I think rapidly, I mean, you should get, if you're going to record, you probably want to have a YouTube channel and post it on YouTube, because you're rapidly going to run out of space to put the things, because movies are big. I forgot to see how many gigabytes my lecture yesterday was. I should go check that, but okay, whatever.
And there's a question about WebAssign, Tim.
Oh yeah, before that, Mitch was asking, can we restructure the grade percentages? Yes, you will have to restructure the grade percentages, and then, but then that will happen. Yeah, that will happen sometime. Let's see. So oh, WebAssign. So another company just sent me an email, which if you remind me, I'll share with you. That they are actually opening up all their online stuff for free. Marion, did you get one of those?
I did not. Well, I did not register one. Is it XYZ homework?
It was not. It was what's the other competitor of WebAssign? It was not WebAssign.
MyLab?
I think it was MyLab. I don't know. It's one of those. They're all the same.
Okay, well, those people haunt me, trying to get me to buy products from them. So I might have some pull with them, trying to get.
Oh, is that our persistent friend?
I have a persistent friend from my lab that comes by my office quite often.
Is that well, anyway, yes. We all have our persistent friends from the publishers. Okay, so my point is, once one publisher does that, the others will do that if we complain. So we should be able to make that happen.
Hello, sorry, extremely sorry for the late, but I have a question. I visited the homepage and unfortunately I can't find it.
Who's talking? Hi.
Yeah, Charita. This is Charita.
What's up?
Yeah, I just visited the web page, but unfortunately I can't find any worksheets for Math 18AW. So,
oh, you missed the part where I said I'm very lazy and I haven't made any this semester and I'm not going to start now. So you should just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
All you need to do is to start Zoom, share your screen, have all your students show up, and then you can let's see, what was I going to look for?
Yeah, I'm already familiar with Zoom. Yes, I did it before.
And then you just bring up some blank document and you draw on it. So
yeah.
Is this going to draw something? Yay! Look at that. Hi.
Yes.
X squared plus 7x minus. So I'm using Microsoft Paint.
So, yeah, I've done this before.
Yeah. So whatever the crudest thing is. Teresa, did you just get on?
Yeah, don't worry. I've been following along with the email, so I'm good.
Yes, okay, but the important thing is the reason to use the crudest thing possible that you already know how to use is, everybody?
Um.
Oh, turn on your mics
Just
and say.
enough to get by.
Yes, we are all doing just enough to get by, and so don't worry
Yes.
about anything else. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And does that give you some kind of reasonable option to pursue?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Marion, you want to say what the Math 19 exam is? Question you just answered is?
Yeah. So the question was about skipping exam 2. So in the unlikely event that we come back right after spring break, we will have exam 2. So there will be 4 total exams, but I very much doubt that will happen, in which case we're going to just completely skip exam 2, and they'll only have 3 exams in Math 19.
Yeah, same. As the analogous thing is true for 18A. If we have to go much farther past spring break, we're just going to be based on exams 1 and 3, and then, depending on how long this goes, we'll see what happens. All plans are written in sand. Excuse me. So here's one reference point to note. I think I just saw something on the news today that the city of New York, which is maybe in worse shape than we are, but the city, because they're actually all closer together, but the city of New York is planning on remaining in an emergency posture until September. So, we should stay optimistic and, la, 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 you didn't hear that. But, just so you know, I mean, was that, Marion, was that your over under? Because you're saying yesterday, we probably have to think about like what's going to happen to you the whole semester.
Yes, I think there's no chance we're going to be back in class this semester. I am hoping that summer session will go through as normal and like all the early start stuff, but I mean, they canceled all my travel. They canceled all our travel through the end of May. And yeah, I don't see us coming back until they feel like this has run its course, and it hasn't even hit San Jose yet, really. So, I mean, they haven't closed the public schools yet. The worst is yet to come, in my opinion. So I don't think we're coming back this semester, and I think we're going to have to figure out how to give tests online, which is something that we are working on and is not going to be ideal. I mean, that's going to be another thing that's definitely going to be do just enough to get by. And I mean, I don't know if you guys got this letter from the president, but for us, for the faculty, they're not even going to teach or use our teaching evaluations from this semester.
Did
like when I go
that?
up for tenure, I don't know, but I'm telling everybody they're not using our teaching evaluations this semester because they know that everybody's going to be mad at us about everything.
I just have an idea. I know that last semester I was actually a student. We used a Respondus lockdown browser, so all you have to do is foster the online exam online, and students are not allowed to browse anywhere else. They're not allowed to go on other websites and stuff. It's strictly on the Canvas quiz. It's straightforward.
We're looking into that. We're looking into that, and there's some even more secure things than that we're looking into.
Teresa.
Yeah.
Can you describe what it was like to take that exam?
Yes. So last semester, one of my professors used Respondus lockdown browsers. So students would need to install that online. And what they would have to do is go to the Canvas class, and they would press on Math 19, and then they would go to the exams sections, and in the exam section to how like, okay, so let's say we're planning to do exam 2, for example. So we'll put exam 2 and they would start to take the quiz, and it will be strictly only one window, no notes, no nothing involved. You're just supposed to do it just like that. And if you catch any students, and every time a student takes a quiz there, they will be able to you'll be able to see what they're doing, or if they're any browsing or catching doing it with friends. You will be able to know all the details.
And how could were you taking the exam or giving the exam?
Oh, I was taking the exam.
So was there a camera on you?
Yes, there was a camera, and it would just be alert of you standing properly in front of the camera, and it will guide you through, and it will give you how much time you have. It will take a recording of you, and you would accept everything, and it's just like an agreement before you take the exam. Before that.
Okay, thanks. That I have not actually used it myself, and I have not actually spoken to anyone who had taken the exam. So it's very interesting to hear what that's like on the sort of exam taker side.
Yes. Yes, so no students will be allowed to take notes, and you won't even see students who are Googling. I know this is a really common thing across everyone, like when they take advantage of online exams for that. So Respondus is definitely like very secure, and students won't be allowed to take notes.
And Kai, you're asking what website is it? Can you clarify that comment?
Yes, I will put it.
This is a Kai. I'm asking Kai. Kai Lee?
Yeah.
Kai, are you there? Can you turn your mic on?
I'm here.
Yeah, you have to you have to say it out loud, because the chat stuff is not recorded on the video.
Okay, I just wonder how can you access this kind of service, this monitoring camera?
The lockdown browser?
Yes.
I'm gonna put the link right now, so we can check it out. Here you go.
Okay, thank you.
And let me just also say, though, that using that kind of thing for the exams for the rest of the semester is something that's going to be decided at the department level, and we're all kind of going to do the same thing. So this is one of the options, but there are other options that we're looking into, and everybody's going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So you don't have to look into what is the best lockdown browser, what is the best test taking software, because we're going to figure that out and let you know. And there are some that cost money that are maybe better than that one that we will be able to get access to. So you don't have to go down that hole and like read Yelp reviews of the lockdown browser. We'll figure that out.
Okay. I just kept the link on so you can check it out.
Yeah, that's helpful. That's
like
helpful. Thank you.
Or you can try it out.
Okay, and let me go ahead and copy this the website, the address of the website that we're just looking at, and so we can remember that for later. Okay. Are there any questions left about the workshop homepage? Oh, Cordelia, you asked if we can extend this to the support classes. Yes, you can, and do you want to do that because you now are an expert in editing the website? Thank you, Cordelia did the 19W section, so thank you very much. So would that make your life easier if you could just sort of do a little copy paste and post that stuff? Cordelia?
She said yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
And then we have a question from Jeff about making the test hard enough that no matter if they try to cheat, it won't help them. So that is one of the options we're considering. But again, we're going to kind of determine that at the department level for all these calculus stream classes and do the same thing for everybody.
If I can just throw my hat in on that. I already talked to Dr. Few about this, but I already have several students in my classes who can't just subtract decimals at the start of the semester. So I would if we can, I would try not to make the exams harder because a lot of my students are already struggling as it is.
Yes, we don't want a distribution where everybody's at 0. Yeah, I think whatever this, there's something else I saw on the internet. You know, I seem to be wasting a lot of time on the internet for a guy who has all these things to do. But I saw something on Twitter that said like, welcome to the land of unsatisfactory solutions, population, us. So whatever solution we work out for the exams, it's not going to be good. We're not going to be happy with it, but we'll do the best we can. Yes, and as Nick and Mitch and Carlos just pointed out, yes, we are quite aware that that if we make it all like essays or proofs or something, then then we'll just zero out the exam, and the exam won't be very, very useful. So we'll try to come to some sort of unsatisfactory middling compromise, because that's the best we're going to be able to do. Are we good on the workshop homepage? Is anything left?
Yeah, so I believe that for my math 18AW, I'll just like create worksheets for myself and assign it to my students.
Don't spend money on this, but you could go in to the office because there's nobody there, so it's actually relatively low danger right now. And you could just Xerox some pages from the book and post them. And if they sue us for copyright, then you'll say, I'm sorry, and take it down. But they probably won't.
Yeah, otherwise I have the textbook on me at home, so I can probably refer back to the problems there. And
yeah, you just say, do these problems from the book, and then we'll talk about them. And do problems 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And when you come in, I will do problem number 3 and take questions. That would be great.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, I mean, something's better. We got so excited about this discussion that I never got to the second reason why it's helpful to sort of run things. And because I think then this is really just sort of psychological, but I think it's helpful that people. So obviously, if any of us stop and think about what's going on, it is super not normal. And and anything we can do to sort of that, so we can all collectively pretend that things are relatively normal, I think is actually beneficial. It's kind of perverse to lie like that, but it's a good lie. Anything we can do to help all of us to pretend that things are going relatively normally, I think is actually psychologically beneficial, and maybe even in the end actually beneficial. If God help us, we can actually get everybody to learn something this semester and salvage this semester. That would be fantastic. But even if you just pretend to salvage the semester, that'd be better. That has some value to it, I think.
Right.
Okay, so is everybody good with the workshop homepage before we go over to sort of running a regular Zoom meeting?
Yes. Okay,
let's try that. So this is the second. So there, this link here, which I will put in the chat, is an article talking about scheduling recurring meetings. I have not read this article, so let's see what it says. So I'm just going to try to do it. Open your Zoom client and log into Zoom. I hope everybody's right. You have to download the Zoom client. So so there should be an icon on your desktop somewhere. There should be something, as you can see, my Windows Start menu. There's like a folder marked Zoom, and there's like this thing that very helpfully says Start Zoom. So there should be something, and I have like a thing on my desktop as well. There should be something that brings up some kind of window like this. It says, let's see. So, and now I'm just going to be a complete idiot and just follow what it says here. Open your Zoom client and sign into Zoom. Click the schedule icon. Do you see the schedule icon? No, maybe not. Well, so much for this idea. Maybe if I go to home. There we go. It's under home. And it says start. If you say recurring meeting. Oh, yes. And Jeff says recurring meeting, just means that it's always open. Yeah, so that's fine. But what you can do is you can click on personal meeting, I think, he said. You can click on personal meeting, and then what you can do every time, that way they don't have to change the link that they use to get on. So at least you don't have to sort of send out a new email every time and have them use a different link. Because by default Zoom will generate a different link for every meeting, and so
will it change the password?
I wouldn't bother to put a password in. Why do you want a password?
No, I'm asking, like, if I like log out of Zoom, log back in, try to join my own personal meeting, will it change the password for other people to get in?
Which password?
Some meetings have meeting passwords. Like Mitch and I tried to do one today.
Oh yeah, so there's a little box here that says require meeting password.
Yeah, so
I would not click that box. I mean, you didn't need a password to get on the meeting we're doing right now, did you?
Well, if you have the link, it's the same thing as having the ID and the password.
Yeah, okay. You can tell I have no idea, right? So on the one hand, I have no idea what you're talking about. On the other hand, we're meeting just fine. Oh, and Kai says the password is the same.
Don't put the password.
Yeah. I mean, all these things that we've been worrying about. Here's another thing where if Dr. Kaika were here, she would disagree with me. But it's my opinion that all these things about security, like we need to hide the worksheets from the students before so they won't get out of. Okay, whatever.
I'm here, by the way.
Hi, Bem. So there we go. So I assume you disagree with me that all these things that we normally do about security and like we have to lock everybody else out of the meetings, and you have to hide the worksheets from people because otherwise they'll do them beforehand. Forget about it. That does not fall under the category of everybody
doing the bare minimum.
Yes, doing the bare minimum, doing what we can't, just doing what we need to do to get by. So Bem, did you want to offer a counterpoint to that?
No, not really.
Yes. So do the bare minimum that you need to get by. So there is a better way to do this. Let's see. So let me get rid of this. So if you wanted, I mean this. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to stop share. Okay, I have to see. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment just to see if I have anything embarrassing on my calendar. Right, so I'm going to stop sharing because the better way to do this is to use the calendar. Do I have anything embarrassing here? Bem, I have your calendar. Is there anything embarrassing on your calendar on this? Oh, I know what to do. Hey, is everybody still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yep. Me too.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. All right, so I will now turn this back on. No, I don't do that yet. Hang on a minute. I will turn this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen again. And I think I've hidden everything that's in Bem's calendar. I don't know what embarrassing. See, I revealed that I was supposed to have Bollywood dance today, but it was canceled because of coronavirus.
Yeah, definitely the Bollywood thing's not mine.
Yes, definitely. That's probably the most embarrassing thing on this calendar. Anyway, and you can see I have a parent-teacher conference at 3, which is why we're doing this now as opposed to like starting at 1:30. Anyway, right. So let me show you what I did to sort of start this meeting. So if you download the Zoom if you use Google Calendar and you download Zoom for Google Calendar, the thing you do is you make a regular Google Calendar event and then invite everyone through the Google Calendar, which is, oh, well, there is a password here, huh? That. Well, yeah, so much for a no password thing. Anyway, so but the point is that so there is, I mean, so you can sort of make this work through Google Calendar. If you're good at Google Calendar, I think that's worth doing. If not, probably not. It's not sort of worth getting good at Google Calendar just for the purposes of, I don't know, of making an ideal way to make this happen regularly. Otherwise, I think the thing where you do a sort of regular meeting and sort of set up a sort of permanent chat room basically, and give the students one link. That's certainly good enough. Does that make sense? And Nick, does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that answers it.
Gabriella, you said the browser version of Zoom is more straightforward, or browser version of something else?
Yeah, so I just accessed it through one of sjsu.edu, and I've already set up a recurring meeting. And if you go into the side in the settings, you can actually turn on and off things like the nonverbal signals that Amanda was talking about earlier.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so if that works better, maybe everyone will go try it. I know how to do this, so I'm not going to bother to learn anything new. Well, you know why. Oh, Jeff, you're asking, is there a quick way to import your student list? Jeff, in what sense?
So that we could use Google tools like Google Calendar. Is there a quick way to do that, or some kind of integration between Canvas?
Do you need something more than the email addresses? Because I think most of these.
Well, yeah, but how do I get? Do I have to type all the email addresses in individually?
So that one I know. So you go to. I can't show you because they would should be posting like confidential stuff on the internet, but you go to your class roster, and there's a thing, there's a box at the bottom that you use to message everybody, and that will automatically generate an email where all of your students would be BCC'd, and then you cut and paste the addresses in the BCC to get your students' email addresses.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I see.
Okay. Any other questions?
How should we handle students who have like no internet access or don't have a laptop or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they must have some way to contact you. Sorry. Rohan asked, where can I find the class roster? So if you're a facilitator, I asked Amanda of the math office, who's awesome, to email every facilitator the list of emails for their class. So Rohan, did you get that? Yeah, that's all you need. If you really need the class roster for some other purpose, I don't think you, in order to get people on Zoom, I don't think you need anything other than email addresses. But let me know if you need it for some other purpose, and I can probably eventually get that for you.
So can I answer the other question about students who don't have their own laptops? I think they can check stuff out from the library, and the dean said he was going to give me a list of resources for these students. And when I get it, you will get it.
Thank you.
And also Zoom works pretty well on a phone. I mean, that's assuming they have a phone, but I think that many students, even if they don't have a laptop, will still have a phone.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you write big.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, and and just to give one more illustration of use whatever you can to write on the board. Here is my way of writing on the board, which is to use. Let me see if I can use my finger as a mouse. This is actually inside Adobe Acrobat. The commenting facility inside Adobe Acrobat actually allows you to write on top of a PDF. And so that's, I don't know if anybody saw the video I made of my lecture the other day. I think maybe a couple of you were actually at that lecture, oh no, you weren't, because that was the undergraduate class. Anyway, but you saw the other one. So a few of you. Anyway, the point is, whatever works is great. If it's Microsoft Paint, fantastic. If it's the comment function of Adobe Acrobat, fantastic. Anything that you know how to make work is better than something you have to spend 3 hours to figure out how to use. I don't have to remind you at this point why that is.
Also, I know some of the other TAs weren't at the faculty meeting yesterday, so it's acceptable to just record lectures and use Zoom for just office hours instead, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that would be any easier, but okay, but maybe. You could just sort of set up in front of a board and have a friend film you if you wanted to. Or you could, as long as you can set up a camera and broadcast, you could you could just write on a piece of paper or on a sort of physical whiteboard and show it to the camera. I think a couple people were going to do that. You know, whatever works.
There are lots of ways to make a document camera out of your cell phone and like cardboard tubes and stuff. You can look on the internet.
What do the cardboard tubes do?
They make a platform because you have to have your cell phone like hovering above the paper. So you make like, and then there's a little holder. And anyway, there are ways to do it that are not that hard.
I see. The cardboard tubes are for MacGyver.
Yes.
But okay, but no one else on this call is old enough to know what that
the
is.
cardboard tubes? They're running out of toilet paper.
Well, if you've been hoarding toilet paper effectively, then you should have plenty.
Soon enough, anyway.
What you can also do is that you can use the built-in whiteboard on Zoom. All you have to do is go to the share screen and you can press on whiteboard and it will give you all the tools that are needed to like write whatever like functions or stuff like that.
Yeah, it's there somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the share screen.
Yeah, I just didn't bother to use it to learn it because I know one way to do it, so there's no reason to figure out another way. You know, whatever way you can make it work is fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any remaining questions? I think that I think we covered all the agenda items that were planned, and we took a lot of questions. Are there any more questions? Oh, right. So shall we go, Marion? Did you want to go over one more time our sort of our plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D for exams?
So do not do anything for now. There should be an updated calendar for whatever class you're teaching. And right now, there is no exam 2 on that calendar. If the administration comes back to us and says, yes, we're coming back after spring break, then your course coordinator will insert an exam 2 somewhere shortly after spring break. So you don't have to do anything about exam 2, just go consult the new revised calendar, lecture off the calendar, and then as soon as we know whether we're coming back after spring break or not, that will be either revised or not to add an exam 2 back in.
Yeah, and I think plan A is to have it right after spring break. Plan B, is to drop exam 2, which is something I do with people who actually get sick. You know, if you're sick for like 2 weeks, then instead of trying to have a makeup, you should just forget about it and have the grade be based on everything else. So yes, Mitch, we will have to change the grade percentages at some point. And then the fall, I forget what our plans C and D are.
Actually, going off that, God forbid any of us get sick, how do we set up like substitutes and stuff like that during this time?
Same as always, I guess. I mean, unless I get sick, I'll be reading emails. So, you know, same as always. And yet, Luis, thank you for being more positive than than I am reflexively. You know, so Luis wisely says that his interpretation of bare minimum is not to go crazy planning because things will go wrong anyway. So have a minimal setup in order to minimize, inevitably, the number of things that go wrong. It doesn't mean don't try your hardest. Yes, and Fernando says, I agree with Luis. We're all doing our best. So yes, that's exactly right. I mean, I'm from New England. What do you want? I have a reflexive cynicism and negativity. But yes, you do try your hardest. But just, you know, don't worry about like making it perfect. Just do what you got to do. And yes, do have a plan. And you know, as it's the same as I always tell everybody about teaching, sort of writ large. Do have a plan going in, because you need to have a plan going in, even though no battle plan survives contact with the enemy, and the enemy here is like everything else going on in the world, I guess. But you still have to have that plan. So, you know, let me know if you feel like you don't have a plan, and I will try to address that as much as possible. And let you know. Go ahead.
More so than normal, please give feedback to whoever is above you in the chain of command, because we're trying to plan many things all at once, and we need to know what's going on the ground in these workshops. So if this whole Zoom call we just had right now turns out to have been just disastrous advice, we need to know that as soon as possible so we can come up with a new plan for everybody. So if you're seeing everything descending into chaos because all your students are now in completely different sections and what we talked about today isn't going to work, let us know so we can plan something different and so we can talk to the instructors. If you are an instructor and what you attempted to do the first 3 times didn't work, let us know so we can help you come up with a new plan. There are a lot of resources out there, and this is our best approximation of how we should start trying to attack this problem. But if you don't tell us what's going on with you, we cannot make it any better.
And again, all like I just wrote, all plans are written in sand, and and we very much appreciate any help that you can give us in sort of rewriting those plans to make them work better.
So I would say, to answer Kai's question, if Zoom crashes on Monday, my backup plan is to just, I was planning to deliver a live Zoom lecture, which I know is a little bit different than what you're doing. What I would do if I were you and Zoom crashed is I would maybe elicit email feedback from your students about which questions were the hardest on the worksheet, and then record little 5-minute lectures, either with some kind of document camera setup, or if you have an iPad, it's really easy to record little lectures on the iPad and post those somewhere, post those on YouTube to be the next best approximation. And so that's what I would do if you attempt to get on Zoom on Monday and it all completely crashes.
Alana, you have stumped me with your, I forget what this reference is from. I hate sand. Its coursing gets everywhere.
Oh, that's what Anakin Skywalker said.
Oh my God. No one, so obviously I just blocked that out of my mind. All right. Very good. Thank you, Alana. Yes, thanks, Mary. There are lots of fallbacks you can do. I guess if you're going to have a fallback, it would be helpful to have a non-internet reliant fallback, at least something sort of like temporarily non-internet. Like record something, exactly what Marion said. Record something on your computer if you have some computer with enough memory to record, like an hour, and then upload it later. So you could try that. If you happen to know how to use, actually, if you happen to know how to use a system that's other than Zoom, that'd actually probably be helpful. So does anybody know how to use Twitch? As I was just saying yesterday at the faculty meeting, what is POG?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be great.
What is POG? Bye, Amanda.
POG is piece of garbage.
I see. Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you use Twitch, there's probably somebody. Oh yeah, and Gabrielle saying I set up a server on Discord. That actually my wife is suggesting I use Discord. Yeah. So if you have some other way to do things, then you might actually want to just think about using that. And if you know how to, especially if you already know how to use it, you might actually think of that as your first option as opposed to your last option, because there will be a lot of load on Zoom on Monday, but there will be only maybe moderately more load on Twitch for all those people who are playing video games when they're supposed to be going to class, I guess. But yeah, it's quite seriously, if you're good at Twitch, forget everything we just said and just use Twitch. Could you actually? Does anybody here actually use Twitch? Anybody going to admit to using Twitch?
Yeah.
For those of you who are like more my age, I have now discovered that that Twitch is like how you stream playing your video game. Yeah. So I get it. Okay. If nobody actually already uses Twitch, then it's not worth learning, certainly. But yeah, if you're really good at Google Hangout, that would be fine too. If you were a Skype master, that'd be great. Something else. if you have some other means to do this, it's almost certainly, I would actually pretty much guess that it'll be better, because you won't be one of the millions of professors using it at the same time. I mean, we'll see. Maybe it'll work. Who knows?
I have another idea. What we can do is probably record videos of us teaching on the board, and then we could send those videos to email to our students, and if they still have any doubts, and then we could attach probably like screenshots of the problems from the book or the worksheets, and then we would say, okay, you have to complete this assignment by tonight, and you must send it in email so that I can record you for this, and if they have any questions about homework, they can follow up with another email.
That's all great, except for one thing. You can't. You should. There's just one change you have to make on that, which is you probably want to post it on YouTube, because
yes,
because movies are too big to send by email. But other than that, that's a fantastic plan.
Yeah.
All right, you're just taking that as a given, so that's good.
Yeah. Yes, otherwise I'll just go through Zoom, because last time I used it, like a lot of students had questions, concerns, and stuff, so I'm better off at Zoom at this point.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So any other questions? I think that was my wife reminding me that I have to get to go into my parent-teacher conference.
Yeah, I apologize. Extremely sorry about the late today. I was just overseeing some other circumstances at home.
No big deal. Okay, and Gabriella is reporting that she has personally used Discord for chatting about math and Pokemon Go. Well, okay, there we go. Gabriella, is there some way to write on the board on Discord?
Well, you can stream your computer screen.
Yes.
I did invest in a laptop that has decent stylus capabilities. So
okay,
that
great.
Works for me.
Yes, I'm really realizing again what a luxury it is to have a touch screens on stuff. It's otherwise this wouldn't have worked. Otherwise it'd be much more difficult. But do what you can. Even the mouse, you can eventually make the mouse work, I think, eventually.
Yeah. I just have one more question.
Okay.
So is it okay if I just run the Zoom class, and then in order to follow up that workshop, is it okay if I put YouTube videos in the as a follow-up, like the YouTube videos and the exercises? That's kind of a follow-up if they didn't get anything during class.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
So everybody else is good?
Yes. And again, extremely sorry for the late.
No big deal. All right, so everybody else, I think, at least I want to go. So let me put up one last public service announcement. Has everybody seen this video, this illustration? Is it going to work? Oh, yeah. So remember, this is the thing that we're doing, right? So what happens is that because, again, roughly speaking, the same number of people are going to get this, and it's going to be a pretty large percentage of the population. What we're doing is we are flattening the curve by sort of reducing the amount of our social interaction, by sort of decrease. I mean, you can think of this as a modeling question, and we're decreasing some sort of coefficient. We are sort of reducing the time at which people get COVID-19 from over here, where there are all these people over here who don't get medical care and die. Yeah, and to this other curve where we, if we God willing, we keep it under the capacity of the healthcare system, and all those people live. So if you want, if you're, I keep telling my students, if you're interested in saving the world, wash your hands, don't go out if you're sick, and avoid social contact. Things I've been advocating my entire life. All right, so I think we're good.
Wait, we have one more question.
Oh, go ahead.
About changing the settings to allow anybody with the link to access the worksheets. I think that's a good idea, because a lot of students get all befuddled when they have to switch their Gmail accounts, and then whoever's in charge ends up getting 1,000 email requests to allow access. And I used to just email everybody back and be like, switch to your SJSU account. But then that happened often enough at ungodly enough hours that I just let everybody who has a link have access.
And I thought we had done that. So if we haven't done that already, yes, just set it to anyone with a link can view.
Or what you can do is that you can download it as a PDF, and then you can just put it as like a PDF file format in email.
Yeah,
Great.
but we want to have everything on this one website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Teresa, what you say is a good suggestion, but just to make it as to give people as many opportunities as possible to download stuff. We're making it all public and free. And I don't know, is someone somewhere else going to steal it? Maybe, but
Oh yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A phrase I should probably stop using, huh? But okay. But so are we good?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Luis, you can't make the okay.
Yeah.
So email me and remind me to make that change.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, and wherever there's like something secure, I'm going to do my best to unsecure it because there's no point in maintaining security at this stage.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Dr. Hugh. Bye.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Guys.
Be safe. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Avoid human contact. Bye.
Yes, bye.